with me are two of my research committee members and their families, Dave Smilie, who is also our registrar, his wife Stacy, and sons Stephen and Sean, and Michael Riggs. Lisa Christopher is also a member of the research committee who lives in Moline, Illinois. Is not able to be with us, but will be joining the Zoom reunion. Also joining us for the Zoom reunion will be two officers, Jim Smilie, our editor in Alexandria, Louisiana, and Laura Moncrief, our treasurer in Golden Valley, Minnesota. We who are here in Newcastle are now going to read sections of the letter that John Smilie wrote to his father Robert, which described his voyage from Belfast to Newcastle.
Fishing Creek on Susquehanna, November 11th, 1762. Honored Father, I account it my honor and duty to give you an account of myself, my proceedings since I left you, which I have, confessed, been a little extraordinary. On the next Tuesday after I left you, I came on board the Sally. On the Monday following, being the 24th of May last, we sailed for America.
On the 31st, we lost sight of Ireland, having been detained till then by calms and contrary winds, which seemed to be doleful presages of our after unhappy voyage. We had our full allowance of bread and water only for the first fortnight.
Then we were reduced to 3 pints of water per day, and 3 pounds and a half of bread per week to each person, which it never afterwards exceeded the whole passage. We had a southwest wind which drove us so far north that our weather became extremely cold, with much rain and hard gales of wind.
On the 5th of July, we had a hard squall of wind which lasted 3 hours and caused us to lie. On the 6th, we had a storm which continued 9 hours and obliged us to lie under bare poles. On the 12th, we espied a mountain of ice prodigious in size. On the 13th, our weather became more moderate.
On the 16th, we espied a sail, which was alongside of us before either saw the other. She, having the wind right aft, crowded sail and bore away. We gave her chase and fired 6 guns at her, but the fog soon hid her from us. In this manner did the captain behave, giving chase to all ships he saw, whether they bore off us east or west. It was all alike, the motives of which caused various conjectures.
August the 1st, our weather became extremely warm and the crew very weak. The 10th day, our allowance of bread came to 2 pounds and a half per week to each passenger. The next week we had only 1 pound and a half, and the next 12 days we lived upon 2 biscuits and the half of that time, and the half a noggin of barley each, which we ate raw for want of water to boil it in.
We had beef, but could make no use of it. For thirst, for we were a week that we had but half a pint of water per day per person. Hunger and thirst had now reduced our crew to the last extremity. Nothing was now to be heard about aboard our ship but the cries of distressed children and of their distressed mothers unable to relieve them.
Our ship now was truly a real spectacle of horror. Never a day passed without 1 or 2 of our crew put overboard. Many killed themselves by drinking salt water, and their own urine was a common drink. Yet in the midst of all our miseries, our captain showed not the least remorse or pity. We were now out of hopes of ever seeing land.
August 29th, we had only 1 pint of water for each person, which was all we passengers would have got, and our bread was done. But on that day the Lord was pleased to send the greatest shower of rain I ever saw, which was the means of preserving our lives. After this we had fair winds, and for most part rains every day, and though we had no bread, yet we thought we lived well.
On the 1st of September, we sounded and found ourselves in 40-fathom water, and the next morning about 8 o'clock we saw land, to the inexpressible joy of all our ships and crew. On the Sunday morning, 4th of September, we came to an anchor off Newcastle, so that we had a passage of 14 weeks and 5 days.
You may judge of Captain T's temper and character by this, that notwithstanding all the straits that we were in for bread and water, neither he nor his mistress nor 5 others that were his favorites ever came to allowance. We had now, since the time of our setting sail, lost 64 of our crew by death.
Monday the 9th, I came on shore, and by the blessing of God, in 3 weeks' time, I got perfectly well. But indeed, few of our ship's crew were as strong as I. For notwithstanding all I had suffered, I enjoyed a good state of health the whole passage. I am your dutiful son, John Smilie.